Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's me again. So, it's very bright out here. My eyes are having a hard time adjusting to the brightness out here. Tearing up and all that. I always kind of had that problem with my eyes a little bit. Well, anyway, so here I am. I don't have to look the prettiest all the time, right? Yes. So, just amazed on how one just takes care of a few, and the few are just, oh my dear me, they're harder to take care of and educate than my children were. I homeschooled for 10 years until we moved to our hometown Providence in the Kentucky mountains, and the schools were actually really, really good there. So, my eyes are really doing a number on me. You guys get to see that for a change. There. It'll clear up. As I said. The red buds are coming out. I saw a good one yesterday. My daughter showed me. She said, there was a post that said, this isn't winter anymore. This is harassment. It was so nice and warm that one day, and then it got really cold again. Now it's kind of in between, and the red buds are coming out. It's a beautiful tree. It's more or less, though we have some wild pear trees here that are already blooming, but it's one of the first trees that comes out here and blooms, and they have these heart-shaped leaves, and they have pods on it with beans in it, and they're edible, actually. Yes. It's great. These trees are everywhere. I'm sure a lot of people don't know that this tree has edible fruit or an edible vegetable, legume on it. Yes. Anywho, so what people assume about other people, right? Yes. Though I can be quite direct, I don't necessarily. I would say I do not. People can correct me if they want to. I do not attack people's background since I don't know it. So to see a comment where someone's talking to someone else about someone else, I find that very interesting in this group as well, and how people talk about other people, right? And that's bullying right there. So you're bullies on top of everything else. Okay, all right. Anyway, so I actually made it past third grade. I never repeated a grade in school, and growing up in Switzerland, I do only have an eighth grade education. School system's a little different there. When you grow up in the caste system that I did, when it comes to having money and station, position, rather than where intelligence counts, then as a child like me who did very well in school, we have once you finish sixth grade, you take a test, and you either are in the upper grades or in lower grades, but again, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. But you only have to do 8 grades. That's that. At the time when I was in school, that was all that was required to finish up your school time. And going to college and all that, or like high school that they have, doesn't exist there. So okay, again, I with flying colors, higher and lower grades means that they have a system there, which I find really nice, is that children who are not doing academically that well in school can do 3 years where they're preparing for a trade, and where they can still make really good grades, but not at the high academic level as the higher grades, which then these people would move on to college, university, or also go into a trade that requires these higher classes. So I've passed with flying colors, flying grades to go into the higher classes. And yet, still, what did that come out of? Not money, not parents who were doctors and bankers and who knows what. And so yeah, well, what do you do afterwards? I wasn't quite sure. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew pretty much that that's not going to happen. I wanted to be a veterinarian or a pediatrician. How to do that with what there was available. So when I was in 7th grade, I was 13. We have a college, or had a college. Oh God, it was 5 minutes from my house to walk. And it was an all-boys college. And as a girl, you could only go there if you lived close by and if you qualified for a scholarship, which they had one. Every so many years, one. Okay, you could go there as a girl if you had rich enough parents and you lived again in the area, or you had an apartment in the area. Which at 13, you're not going to have an apartment in the area. Well, how could you go there at the age of 13? Well, that's because I was known as a bit of a little genius. Okay, so all right. Oh, I didn't know that, by the way. All right. The teachers during that time, when a scholarship like that would become available, which could be given to a boy as well, by the way, they get together. I found that out later, when I got, okay, how did this process actually work? How did I slip through the cracks like that? And they get together and they decide who, right? And yes, they did. I was not the smartest kid in town, but they would decide who would, I guess in a way, benefit the most, or would have the least possibility to ever be able to get a scholarship like that, unless they would kind of advocate it. All right, I got that scholarship, by the way. I did. I was totally, nobody talked to me. Yeah. Nobody said, hey, would you like to? Nobody. It was just like, it just kind of happened. Then my mom was notified. My mom didn't know what to do either. And so it became like this, okay, what to do? So we went to the interview that was scheduled for us with the director at that college. Huge college, beautiful building. And we sat there. I heard what he said. I never said a word. As far as I know, he never addressed me. Okay, which kind of should tell someone something already. And he only talked to my mom. And I guess since there was no dad there, this was a pretty important kind of thing. Okay. I guess he figured I can get out of this one. If I did not take that scholarship, it was up to me to take it. Then they could actually give that spot, which they were very limited in that college, that spot to a paying customer. So he scared my mom in telling her that, well, you would still have to come up with at least $1,000 for the books every semester. Can you do that? My mom just sat there. Well, no. Loans at that time, right? You had to have some collateral. My mom's old car wasn't collateral enough. And besides that, I think, just as I was in a way, though, I had this hope suddenly, oh my gosh, I could actually do what I wanted to do. I was only 13, but yeah. But yet, I realized that. I realized what was going on. It's just kind of, I didn't know what to do with the situation, how to handle the situation. How is this handled? And I think my mom just didn't know how to ask for help in that situation. I need to talk to somebody else. I want to know what's going on here and exactly, and they need to go with me. And my mom didn't, she already had so much on her plate. I understood that. So we went home, and my mom sat me down. She said, Daniela, I wouldn't know how to get that money. I really wouldn't. I don't know what to do. And I said, Mom, it's all right. We don't have to take that. We'll just, we'll just give it up. And then my mom, I never let anybody know. I guess my mom called them and said, no, she's not going to do it. We can't afford that. We cannot even afford it. Though I was being offered a $100,000 plus scholarship, the money that it would have taken for the books still just wasn't there. So I didn't, and continued on until after 8th grade. And then something happened in the classroom with one of the teachers. And the way I am, I stepped in. I said, that's not right. You can't do that. This is wrong. I'm seeing exactly what's wrong here and how biased you are. And towards students, not me. I just offended someone else. And they wouldn't change what they'd done. And I said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm leaving. So I did. I finished up after 8th grade, which I could legally do that in Switzerland. And I started a trade. Something my mom found. It was fine. Not going to get into that. It's just kind of, okay. They're still in a trade. You still go to school a couple of days a week or something. And there were 2 classes. I was at the top of both classes, of course. Anyway, doesn't matter. Anywho, so that was that time. So to assume that I was a lousy student or didn't know how to pass my grades or that my intelligence level or something isn't quite there, and that's the reason why I think the way I do, which someone in this group assumed and alluded to and made, okay, I'll read that comment and laugh because I know better. So why am I making the video? Kind of showing how, again, you can bully me. You can bully me all you want, but you might be doing that to someone else that is not quite as strong, isn't in the place yet where they need to be, and you're destroying them. Try to destroy them. This isn't building up someone. This isn't teaching anybody. This is trying to tear someone down. And that's kind of the purpose of this group, to tear someone down, to tear something down. That is very good. That is very good and has seen many decades of success. Just saying. Right? Yeah. So then, 10 years later, I happen to be, 10 years later after all this, I was already here in the United States. I went home for a visit to Switzerland, and we sat down, we talked about something, we talked about education, and my mom says, I did not bring her, she says, do you remember, when we went to that director and he told me that, the books will cost $1,000 per semester, this, I said, yeah, I remember that. It was very sad, but hey, she said, do you know, I found out a few years later that he was lying. So my mom had a friend who happened to be the director of another, we call it a seminar, but it means a little something different what it means here. So the scholarship that I got to this college, university, was more considered as a university, okay? Yeah, how do you enter at 13 a university? Well, okay, just saying, I can't help it, I'm that smart. I lost some of that since then, okay? If anybody were to academically, actually, I've taken some IQ tests, and I score about 140, 150, just depends. But I go through it really quickly. 20 minutes, I'm done with all of them. But so if I maybe would take more time, I'd score higher. I don't know. So now at this time, when it comes to academic stuff, I wouldn't say that I'm still at the level that I was at 13, where you're at 13, you can be at this really high level. So now at my age of being almost 60, am I still at that high level? No, nowhere close to it. So she said, he was lying to us. That scholarship everything was included except for housing and food. But everything else was included, including the books. He lied to us. He knew he could lie to us. And I guess was going to see if he would get away with it, and he did. Oh. So anyway, so my mom had this friend. And he was the director of a college where you became a teacher, a nurse, okay? Yes, they had these weird kind of... so there was the university where you went to become a pediatrician, a doctor, a veterinarian, I guess certain other business things, and I can't think of anything else right now. Scientist, there you go. And then there was where you would become a teacher or a nurse, okay? So the next step down. Yeah, Switzerland's very caste system, kind of like, to this day, really, when it comes down to it. To go to college there, like everybody can here, and then if you, in one way you don't get in, you kind of use your your race, and it's not that you can't do that in Switzerland. Anyway. And then have everything paid for. If you go in state college, have everything paid for if you got the grades. My daughter did that, my youngest one. She has no debt. She has absolutely no debt. On top of that, they paid trips for her to go to who knows where to study as well. Okay, all right. Well, that's how smart she is. Yes. And she said, he told me that we knew about your daughter. We knew how smart she was. She was a bit of a, how do you say? She was talked about, the type of intelligence that she has. So I wasn't the smartest kid. The type of intelligence that I supposedly had, I wasn't aware of. And he said to her, if I'd have known, if you'd have come to me, we would have taken her with a hand kiss. We'd have paid for everything for her to get the best education we had available. I sat there. This was 10 years later, right? I sat there looking at Mom. I said, oh, okay. I said, Mom, you didn't really need to tell me that. And yet, so why? Right? Why, even though, right, did things go the way they did at that time? Oh, because I'm such an evil child, right? And that's how some of you look at me like. But at that time, why? Because I'm such an evil child. I don't deserve that, right? Yes, according to you, I don't deserve anything because I'm not following the guns and the crowns. And the martial arts to kill, have those nasty weapons in my hands, and slice somebody up, disfigure them, and I don't know what, right? Yes, I'm an evil child in your eyes. So what about when I was 13? I had, that was made possible, and yet it didn't happen. Well, I just explained it because, in a way, I was too young to handle a situation like that. My mom was, ignorant? Maybe. My mom was, for the time that she grew up, the way she grew up, she did actually get some education, and she was a typesetter. You guys probably don't even know what that is. Anyway, so, yeah. Why? Well, anyway, sitting there and telling my mom, I said, I don't think I really needed to know that. That's okay, It's already passed. It's all happened already. When I think back on what happened for me to be here in this country and to meet true parents and divine principle, and then do the spiritual work that I do, at the age of 33, my migraines just disappeared, absolutely disappeared. I suffered from migraines since 6 years old. Lots of pain, not fun. All kinds of things could trigger a migraine. And so that was another reason I liked being by myself. But at the age of 33, I committed myself 100%. I said, this is it. I'm just going to do it. It was just before we started hometown Providence, before we moved to the Kentucky mountains to the ancestral land of my husband's family. And I said, okay, this is it. I'm going where I really want to go. 18 years in the city was enough. It was hard, but it was still good. Oh, I made the best out of it. And with the kids as well, everyone around me. Made things better there with another family on the block. We made a block that was 2 blocks. It was only a 2-block street. It is in horrible disrepair, every which way you can think of. And within 7 years, that became a respectable 2 blocks with good families, children, and neighborly, yes, togetherness there. That was beautiful. And people, once they realized, hey, this is actually great, started to pull together with us and this other family, and neighborhood watch, it was great. It was really great. It was good to live there after 2 or 3 years anyway. Yeah, so you make a difference wherever you go if that's in your heart and mind. And if you love the people, if you want the better for people. So just before we left for Kentucky, I had an experience. I said, okay, that's it. I can't listen to anybody else anymore. I'm just going to do what I need to do when it comes to spiritual work, and that's just what I do. And my migraines totally disappeared. We got to Kentucky and started building the home, and after a few months, I didn't even realize. We were so busy, okay? It was such a busy time. I didn't even realize I had no more migraines or headaches. It's like, what? What's going on? The slightest shift in the weather could give me a headache. And it was just gone. It was like this, what did I do? What happened? So, what did I do? What happened? So I could brag about it or talk about it? No, I wanted to know. And to this day, I'm still trying to think, okay, it had to be that. It had to be the spiritual. I made the commitment. That was that. And I always stuck with it. And to this day, I am migraine-free, headache-free. Okay? Do I have every once in a while a little, yeah, sure, gosh, a coffee headache or something? Sure, but that's nothing compared to what I went through for many, many, many years, even as a child. No, I wanted to know because I so wanted to help other people with migraines. Migraines is just a horrible, awful thing to have. It is so debilitating. It is so painful. And do I believe? Yeah, there was some other things that I did at that time with a friend. We ate a lot of ginger. Maybe it was that, right? I can't think of anything else. And it just took some time, and it just happened to be. So I tried to find, okay, is there a physical reason for it? All right, is there a combination of it? But really, when it comes down to it, honestly, I really do believe that when I make that commitment 100%, and I stuck with it to today, that was it. That was it. So I feel that in my life, God and spirit world have always, and Jesus, my brother Jesus, until I met your parents. And then, okay, in the physical, it was so great. Suddenly in the physical, I also had this kind of grounding thing, right? That grounding, the base on earth. It wasn't just coming from spirit world. It's great. I loved it. That combination of it was so fantastic to me, okay? And I believe that God, spirit world, guided me every which way, and I had to give up some really important things. Kind of not realizing I knew I was giving it up, but not quite knowing why. At the age of 13, I got this fantastic scholarship. Go to university at 13. Okay, it would have been 14 when I entered. And that didn't happen. Right? Yes. I had to, God, spirit world. So I said, nah, we can't. She won't meet true parents then. Then she won't be. I wonder what they already knew at that time. There's something that I remember true father said. He says, I'm not sure about my children. I don't know if ever anyone, one of them at least, and I would say most likely he was talking about his sons, will truly follow true parents' path after it is needed. I remember that. I know most people here don't want to remember he said that. That's all right. Anywho, so I thought that this needed a little bit of clarification. So on top of everything, now you're bullies as well. You want to be a bully towards me, you go right ahead. Huh? If you're bullying me, you're not bullying anyone else. And you know what? Yeah, I don't have a problem controlling you. I don't have a problem seeing exactly what you are and what you're doing, and it will not have one iota of an effect on my life. Yet, I learned something important about you, again, that I know needs restoring. And my feeling is that someone has taught you to be a bully. Now, who would that be? Good question. Yes. Again, all right. Youngjanim and Cookshanim, you're bullies. You're bullies. You bully people. One way you bully people is make fun of them. Like making fun of true father locking up his wife. That's a bully right there. Whew. Okay. Happy with that? It takes a lot of intelligence and a lot of IQ to be a bully, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah. All right. That's all I have to say today. Yes. Yeah. Another boring whatever. Huh? Talk. Yes. It's boring to you because you don't want to learn anything. You want to stay ignorant. Right? And you want to stay a bully. All right. All right. Good luck with that. God's love and blessings always. Now, will, no doubtedly, talk to you another time.